Well, today the can of refrigerant arrived, but as you'd expect, nothing that I've got fits on it. As you can see, this one here, it just doesn't fit at all. I've got another style here which clips onto the side, but when I clip it on, it's sort of like the middle, it's a bit offset. And then once you clip it on, you're meant to screw this in, and then the needle will press down inside there. But I'm thinking I'm going to get some luck with this. What I'm going to do is press tin foil into here to sort of shift it over a bit so it's not so off centre, and I might be able to get it to work. Well, I would say that looks pretty much near as damn it to me, so I'm going to try and screw in the tap valve and see if anything happens. And it's a success, if you listen. With refrigerant. Now I think if you turn this upside down you'll get liquid. Yeah, there's liquid coming out of that. Right, so there we have it. So, while I was waiting for the refrigerant to arrive, I built my own low side gauge. Basically by taking apart an air pressure gauge and bending the copper tube inside it, so it's moved the needle up a bit from 0, and then I just sort of recalibrated it with other pressure gauges by putting compressed air in it and measuring the pressure. So anything below the white mark is vacuum, and above that is pressure. This system has been sitting under vacuum for a few days, and it is consuming, it's got no refrigerant in it yet, I'll still put it in, 35 watts, and it drops as it warms up. So I'm going to leave it for a while, just running under vacuum, just to let the power consumption drop a bit until it stabilises, and then I'll start putting in a refrigerant. You've got to put it in as gas, so you have the can upright, because you're not meant to put liquid into a refrigeration compressor. I think there are some cases where you are meant to charge as liquid, but I don't think this is one of them. Right, so this is the end here. Sorry about the funny view, but this is the end that will go in the service valve, and this end will go in the can of refrigerant. 1/4 inch SAE connection, and there's that screwed in. What I will do beforehand though is run some refrigerant through the hose to purge out the air, because you don't want air in this, and then I'll connect it to the service valve, and then we'll commence charging the refrigerant. Right then, to purge the hose with refrigerant, you need to turn on the refrigerant very, very slowly until you notice a shimmering effect coming from the end of the hose. Right, I could see that now, so turning off, and then attached to the service valve. Right, so on we go. Right, so we'll have a look at our gauge. And we do have, it's went down below my mark, so there is a negative pressure in there. Now I've actually got the refrigerant flowing extremely slowly, and basically I'm just going to wait until I do notice some form of cooling on here. Power consumption isn't really changing. It's because I've got the refrigerant, it's like barely on. So what I'm going to do is maybe just turn it up a little bit, but it'd be good if I could see my gauge as well. Right, so if you have a look at this poorly positioned gauge, I'm going to turn up the refrigerant a little bit. Power consumption is rising a little bit. $36, $37, 38 watts. You can hear that the motor is beginning to work just slightly harder as well. Still pretty much no cooling going on. Now up to 42 watts. Let's see what our low side pressure is now. It's went up slightly. Still hardly a temperature difference. It's because I'm doing this very slowly. So just bear with me. I'm just doing it like this, so because I'm not wanting to put too much in. Right, we've got the compressor running at 50 watts now. That's beginning to get a little bit chilly. This side I can feel a very small amount of heat. Put in a bit more. And up to 46 watts. Slightly warmer on this side. Beginning to cool down this side. Continue. Well, it's certainly not ideal being interrupted while you're charging a refrigeration system, but I have to go take this rental BMW i3 down, this one here, and get my car back, so I'll be back soon. But the power consumption went down a wee bit. There's a bit of a temperature difference, I think, but I think it needs more refrigerant. So I'll be back. Right, so that's me back. What I'm going to do is put some water in the condenser one, because I want to try and see the ice crystals forming on the evaporator, so I can be sure if I'm charging it right or not. So I'll just siphon some water in. And that should keep the condenser cool so the evaporator can get even colder. We're not finished charging it with refrigerant yet. Oh, I just lost the siphon there. Right then, so that would have been a good 2 hours that the system had been resting halfway through the refrigeration charge. So I'll switch it on, we'll see what the pressure does. It goes down a little bit, not much. 51 watts. What I'm going to do is that I'm just going to just leave it in this sort of halfway phase just for a little while, and then I'll continue adding refrigerant. Right, so not much of a temperature difference, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Right, that's it going in now. You can hear it. Right, I'll turn it off again, I'll let it stabilise. Not a great deal of temperature difference yet. That's getting quite cold. Not much heat coming off this. Right, it's currently consuming about 41 watts. I think at maximum load this compressor is up at about roughly 70. So add more. You've got to do it in very small sections. You can't just rush at this because, well, that's what I've read. That's just the general advice that I've read. Don't rush at it. I think it's meant to take about half an hour at least. But it looks like we're still down in vacuum. It's the go up a little bit, so I'll add a bit more. Yeah, you can see it goes up a bit and then goes down again when I add it. It's funny, the evaporator seems to actually get cold, and then once it stabilises it sort of cools down again. Well, sort of, it returns to sort of normal temperature. Strange. Yeah, it's went back down to 41 watts. It's like when I add a little squirt of refrigerant, it goes up a bit and then goes down. But you're only turning in the tap on the can like a very little bit at a time. Not even a quarter turn. Alright, that's the... See, it's very sudden. You'll notice that the evaporator will start to frost up and it'll happen suddenly, and I think that's when you're done. And it's funny, the length of capillary tube is being at frost too, so I'm going to leave that. I can see there's frost forming on it. Yep, that's pretty cold. So I'm going to leave that for a while, and what I'll do is I'll sort of blow air from my mouth into there, and I'll see where the ice is forming, because I've seen some people who built these systems and the ice is all over it, right up into the compressor. I saw one of the guy's videos, and that must mean that liquid is going into the compressor, and from what I've read, that's a bad thing. Right, so it appears that we're still into the vacuum, not as much as we were, and as you can see there's a fair bit of frost forming on the top there, but it's only for a very small length of the pipe. There's not that much, so we can add just a little bit more. I'll show you how I'm doing that. The refrigerant bottle's getting slightly cold too, so you turn it clockwise to get the refrigerant to flow out the can, and anti-clockwise to close it. So another little squirt. The system is currently consuming 41 watts still, pretty much. How are we doing for that pressure? We're still into vacuum. Up to 42 watts power consumption now. Getting a little bit more frost. Frost there still doesn't seem to have moved that much. I'll show you what I mean. See, it's all frost at the top there, even on the capillary tube. There must be some subcooling or whatever, or something going on. I don't know exactly what all the terms are, but I think it might be this capillary tube join I put in. It's sort of flashed into vapour there, and then go back at the capillary tube, and that's maybe why you're getting ice on the tube too. Right, so we're back down to 40 watts power consumption. Add a little bit more. I'm glad it never exploded. That should be impossible because there's actually pretty much no air in it, inside it. But that's a nice bit of frost we're getting up there, but it's slowly progressing down the coil. So we'll add a little bit more and I'll show you what happens. Pressure is still down in the vacuum, hasn't changed all that much. So that's just a little short squirt of refrigerant. As you can see, the power consumption goes up and then it goes down again. And that must be, I'm not exactly sure why that would be. It's maybe that just things equalising out. That's just me blowing moist warm air from my mouth into the evaporator, and as you can see, the frost that's still just right at the top of the coil, so I'm going to have to put a bit more in. Right, so you're maybe getting a little bit bored with all that, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off charging the system until I can see that the frost is sort of maybe 3/4 of the way down that coil. And I think that'll do it. This side is it's sort of lukewarm, the tube going in. The one coming out is quite cold. Now it's making a funny noise. It actually sounds like the freezer that we've got. Let's have a listen. I think that's probably refrigerant just boiling off. I was kind of alarmed there. I thought it was going to go on fire or explode or something, but that's impossible. But yeah, it now sounds like a refrigerator. That's good. Okay, I'm hoping I've not overdone it, but the whole coil's now frosted up. Top more than the bottom, and the frost seems to be stopping about this point here, so I don't think there will be liquid going back into the compressor. The compressor, it's not even warm really, it's very slightly warm. Evaporator, no, sorry, the condenser is reasonably cold, slightly warm going in, pretty cold coming out. But yeah, I bet that's absolutely freezing in there. Right, okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fill the evaporator with water. I'm going to see how the power consumption changes. Now if I've overcharged this with refrigerant, it might go up quite a bit. And if my capillary tube length is wrong, then that could be a problem too. But I'm not really sure how to calculate that. I just added a little bit on to make it the same sort of length as was in the fridge from which I took this. So we'll have a look. Okay, so we're now going to begin filling the condenser, oh sorry, the evaporator, keep getting mixed up, with water. This is probably going to shoot up, I predict. As you can see, it is rising, going up and up. If it gets to about 70 watts, then I'll have to stop. But yeah, you never know, we might get a giant ice cube out of this. Not that I'll be able to get it out though. So that's not entirely useful. But it's not for that anyway, it's for circulating water. Right. So surprisingly enough, the power consumption hasn't went up greatly. Thought it would. So put this water to the side. There we go. That coil is now underwater. This side isn't heating up all that much really. Still pretty much the same. Well, I've been really taking my time with this. That is getting fairly warm. Not too hot. And here, as you can see, there's ice growing on it, forming. And it's consuming now about 47 watts. So what I'm going to actually do is I think I'll connect this cold side up to a water pump and radiator, or just my cooling loop, I'm not sure, so I can actually put a decent load on it. I might actually just put it on the condenser side, because I want to be able to use this possibly for chilling drinking water as well, and my water cooling loop is contaminated a little bit with oil, so I can't really use that. So it has now been going for quite a while now, and there's a fair bit of ice in there. That's quite a lot. What I'm going to do now is just switch it off and see what the pressure goes to. Right. So, switch off now. Doesn't seem to be really moving. We'll give it some time. So as you can see, it's risen a bit above zero. Still going, yeah, it's still making funny noises. So that's now above atmospheric on the low side. Don't have anything on the high side, but I'm going to do a little bit more reading, and I'm going to have a look and see where it's actually meant to be, if that's right or not. Well, that's about as cold a drink as you'll get, I think. I'll post more videos about this when I add more stuff to it, like radiators and whatever.